afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast from your host, Imperial Dane, Master Propaganda Hero of Psych, Defender of the Fatherland. We're off here to a 1 versus 1 on Crossroads. Between the south, you got Findid fighting for Germany, the Wehrmacht, the Panzerlehr, Panzerdivision, the Elite. Versus in the north, you got Finggy fighting for America, freedom, and democracy. Fighting here for the 2nd Armored Division, tasked with clearing out the Panzerlehr, who are blocking the way to Germany. Those Nazi bastards. We got here mechanized assault, mobile defense, and elite troops, the elitist of elitist doctrines, with Panzergrenadier and assault grenadiers, the most elitist of bulletins, versus heavy cavalry, armor company, and tactical support with all in. Actually, a single Pathfinder there, which is interesting to note, by the way, seeing as he's got absolutely no Pathfinders. Yeah, those Krauts, don't confuse them. And then we hit them. Yeah. And we start rifle start there for Fingly, Grenadiers, MD42 there for Findid of the Wehrmacht. Grenadiers heading westward, says pushing for the western viewpoint there pretty hard. Whereas we can see here that Fingy's sort of spreading out here, going for either viewpoint, it seems there. Which does mean that Findid should not be punished too hard if we're going hard on one point. But pretty standard stuff here so far. Rather than holding about there, hiding behind the sandbags. On the lookout for any Germans that might appear in barbed wire here tonight, coming in case they try to pressure around the alternate barbed wire around the boxes. MD42 going, there we go, rifleman spotted, MD42 needs to stop, it's going to be a bit slow, a bit risky. Oh dear. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what happened right there for Findid's MD42, that did not work out there. Grenadiers stop line coming far there with the Kar-98 case and the MP4 support gunners, and the MD42 also doing the work there. Joe there goes flying in death. He always was a jumpy fella. Right from there, though, he's going to lose the MD42. They're pretty bad engagement for Findid in the early game. No idea what happened there. I'm guessing some kind of misclick order, just some bugger up there. Other way, though. What the hell? Oh dear. Anyways, poor Joe there climbing away or crawling away. We got rifling up, but then getting the punish to wire themselves stuck. Oh dear. MD42 there in trouble. We got another Grenadier squad on the way there for Findid. We got 3 riflemen with a mortar following up there for Finggy. And there goes Pioneers trying to get up, getting wiped. Findid is having a very rough start here against Finggy. And the 2nd Armored Division, the Elite Panzerlehr, is apparently got some very raw recruits there who are fumbling about pretty hard. Grenadiers engaging the riflemen. Pushing them away. We got the victory point here being secured. Grenadiers, MD42, they're reinforcing with the sniper halfway done. Overall, so far, Fingy's having a pretty great start. They do some slightly awkward incidents there for Findid in the early game. This is, I would say, almost as bad as it gets. The only way it could have been worse for Findid is if the MD42 had been stolen, but at least he was able to recover that one for the fatherland. But MD42, Grenadiers moving westwards there. Sniper around there as well, so Findid's going to try and bleed out Finggy here in the early game. If he can do that, I mean, he can probably relieve some of the pressure that he's been suffering through and that way push through, but it can be a bit risky. Particularly with the mortar out here. That could very well do a lot of damage to the sniper what we're dealing with. There we go, Rifleman taking losses. MD42 Grenadiers pushing westwards, and the Eastern Grenadiers on their own versus Rifle Squad. Here at range, so the Grenadiers will have the advantage, but there we go, we got reasons moving up. In this case, the Grenadiers are suddenly outgunned and outnumbered. Rather than being pushed back, almost wiped there, almost. If you can get the wipe there, though, that would be pretty great for Findid and the Panzerlehr. Grenadiers versus re-echelons there. And Grenadiers sniper here, catching the mortar crew there. We got another Grenadier squad there from Findid, going heavy tier 1 when things have already gone a bit south there, I suppose. If you can get that mortar, though, that would also constitute a pretty big thing there for Findid. Doesn't look like it, though. Doesn't look like it. Maybe. If the sniper get the kill there. Close but no cigar. I mean, if he got in the mortar there, that would have been huge for Findid. That could easily offset the losses there he'd suffered in the early game. Sniper though, they're roaming about, trying to get as much bleed as he can on Finggy. He really needs to offset there this very rough, very awkward early game he suffered from. He needs to, again, just take a blood toll on Finggy. Otherwise, Findid is going to be in a very deep pile of Scheisse. Grenadiers, they're reinforcing rapidly, need to take up as well, though he can't afford to fall behind. Finggy here, of course, is already rapidly taking hit there. Again, he's just had such a great start up there. He's just rushing here there for the light tanks to further sort of just solidify his hold with a, M5 Stuart. We can see that Findid spinning out in that way. He's trying to push ahead more aggressively, but at the same time, it does mean he's a bit weaker in some sense. I mean, if he sort of gets pushed hard in any side, he could run into a lot of problems. So it's not, completely foolproof what he's doing here. But in theory, if his opponent doesn't react quite correctly to this, though, Findid could very well have a chance of getting back on the field and, punishing his opponent. And we can see he's not responding to the eastern moves. That means the western move there, although it's going to suffer a lot more pressure, but he can sort of just delay and occupy thing in the west, though he could grab the eastern half, then get some fuel finally there for his vehicles, for his panzers. Indeed, also needs to consider, of course, obviously a doctrine pretty damn soon. We got MD42 there, though he's watching for any movement from the house, though the problem is now he's getting attacked from the other side. And there you go, the MD42 is forced to reposition. Sniper moving westwards here now, leaving the Grenadiers to get points. A bit more risky there, but so far could work out. MD42 falling back. Grenadiers basically buying time, though. In this case, they need to retreat. The mortar there's basically already zoning in on it. Right there, flanking on the MD42. Grenadiers covering the flanky. An idea here for Findid right now would be to choose elite troops to get up some concussive grenades. That way, his Grenadiers could get a bit more firepower versus the riflemen up close. There you go, flanking hand, but they're getting up close here. Taking shots, getting focused down here by the Grenadiers, both on the MD42 and here. It's right here, Finggy. Forgot a few things. We are getting a mortar up for Findid. Findid has still yet to take up. He's bringing up own artillery there to further bombard Sus Army Schweinhunden. Leeson's going there for the CoH point. Good work here. Grenadiers moving back towards the west. He's now trying to flank in behind Finggy instead, deciding, he could rather get behind. So that's actually a pretty interesting tactical maneuver there from Findid. A bit more risk. I mean, if it doesn't work out, he's going to lose out on the territory here. But at the same time, if he pulls it off, they can do a lot more damage, though, to Finggy there. And he's at least pushed back the mortars. It's kind of paying off there for Findid. Right here, the reaction's being gated by two Grenadier squads being pushed back. In the west, rifle there being sawed down by MD42 fire and Reich's rifle fire from the Grenadiers as well there with their trusty Kar-98 case. But Finggy here is going for the Steward. And he's not using the captain, though. He's not using the captain, though, to rush out the Steward faster. That way, making it harder for Findid to respond to it. That could very likely prove to be a mistake there by Finggy, as that again gives Findid more time to actually tag up and bring out a Pack 40, or at least get up some Telemine, because right now, otherwise, Findid's got 0 anti-tank besides some Panzerfausts. Right here, though, Findid makes a grievous tactical error there, though. Moves his MD42 there, right up, low on health. That was not good there, that was not good by Findid, and we can see Finggy immediately seizes upon the opportunity. His hands can't control themselves, and he just, steals it. Grenadiers, they're getting behind here, though, trying to punish, do a bit of damage. Got the sniper here supporting as well. There you go, full retreat here from Finggy. Findid, they're punished, and he's soon going to be punished harder with the Steward arriving there. So Findid's the awkward start there is starting to be quite awkward further. And also, he doesn't have the Pioneers. He's going for another MD42, and he's be getting Pioneers here. Oh dear, this is getting pretty terrible for Findid. Its only option for anti-tank right now is actually elite troops or mechanized assault, and then getting out some Panzerjägers. In this case, Stormtrooper is probably the better one, since he's only got 75 munitions. So he could be forced into that detail there versus Finggy right now. We'll have to see, though, what Findid does, but he is in a very precarious position there versus Finggy and the 2nd Armored Division. The Panzerlehr assault has gone very wrong off the bat there. Another MD42 there arriving. Findid falling back, mostly across the front with a single Grenadier squad on their own, heading eastwards. Pioneers, they're finally arriving for Findid. Advances here in the west. We got the rifle there rapidly advancing, more supporting the advance. Stewart there being slightly fixed up, and there you go, Grenadiers here versus riflemen. Not really the best how to fight from, though. And sniper moving out. Pioneers finally around there for Findid, but he's still too short on manpower. He is still so short here. This has got to be an absolutely hell of a terrible start there for Findid. There goes Stewart opening up there with its 37 with a gun. Mortar moving up there, sniper as well. He's actually going to attack into the Stewart here with 0 anti-tank. Findid's courage knows no bounds. That way it is madness. It's hard to say there. And he's actually moving out there trying to... Is he going to try and bait it into the Telemines? He is! He is! He's basically just going to hope the Stewart rotates into his Telemine. Talk about courage there. Talk about... But at the same time, it might be his only option of immediately dealing with it, but... That takes guts. That takes guts.
Yeah, you know, so as Americans, we only need a pair of telemines. We just bait them into it and then blows them up, yeah. You've always been so skilled at baiting, Jürgen, yeah. Anyway, Stuart moving up there, Grenadiers are being suppressed. Stuart moving up, let's support as well. Grenadiers need to retreat. The problem is, how's going to get it in there? I mean, he's probably hoping the victory point there being seized in the centre might be enough to sufficiently get the Stuart in there. I mean, it could work, but I'd still deem it very highly risky there. I mean, if he gets it off, if he gets it to work, though, that'll be brilliant. But so far, though, Finggy here is not really taking the bait. It's too far behind, and so far, Finggy seems to be sort of taking more defensive posture, with the Stuart just reacting only within his territory to whatever it is Findid and the Panzerlehr does. Captain there going up for the cut-off point in 4D to deal with that. Troops are reinforced. He needs to get up and like to mechanized company. He's going to need a pack, I think. There you go. Plus his mines there's going to get spotted by the echelons. Not looking good there for Findid at all. Mortifier there against the Grenadiers. MB42 covering the flank here. Rifle going to move into that. Like to mechanized company finally going up there for Findid. Grenadiers moving up east. Stuart Grenadiers in a lot of trouble there. MB42 they're being sniped here by Findid's Scharfschütze. Lieutenant Müller. Bad stuff here, but Findid is fighting onwards, though he believes in NC. Stuart being about here, coming under fire. A few shots being fired here and there. But Findid is not letting himself being shaken nor stirred by this Stuart. Grenadiers moving up against Ripe, and he's yet. He ignores the telemine. Ooh, this could work out for Findid. If he forgets about it as well, then, and most players tend to forget the mine in those conditions. Like, they don't remember they saw a telemine if he even saw it in the first place. This could kind of work out for Findid. There's small chance, but it could just work. Again, if he can get that Stuart, though, that's going to be noticeable there for Findid. Back at base here, we have no tech up there for Fingers, but yet he could try and take up now, try and push ahead there further off Findid. Rather than getting off, it looks like a grenade. Yes, he has research grenades opening up there for smoke as well, for his men. He's also floating a ton of munitions. BARs and bazookas, I think Ludwig would choice. We got a Panzerfaust there against the Stuart, or at least an attempted Panzerfaust, but Ludwig dropped it, the klutz. Pack 40 almost done. Troops healing reinforcing here for Findid and the Panzerlehr, which is still desperately fighting against the American forces. Still no doctoral choices. But Finggy, though, we got one. It is tactical support. He's not going to research anything. He's just going to grab those surrounding light machine guns. He's going to saw some Germans apart. Stuart moving about there. Could also go for the half check, but that's also not very likely to happen. Grenadiers being attacked by Cap and the light machine gun, the only defense here. As the Cap moves up with his Thompson, just begins sweeping those damn krauts. Snarfire here supporting. Grenadiers being up, engaging the machine gun crew here. Rough grenade off. Ooh, decent hit there, but the Stuart is in the way. That's going to force retreat. Mortar not really able to support there. Got 3 kills close to Veteran 2-1. Light machine gun teams moving down there rapidly. And we got the Pack 40 out here for Findid. He's going to try and catch that soon. He's going to try and knock it out. Martin used to sniper here for spotting ahead of the Pack 40 in east there. Pioneers, especially the echelons, pushing away, having the advantage up close. And back here, healing reinforcement going westwards. There we go, sniper moving ahead here. Still moves in, takes a hit, and it's actually low and healthy. He might actually be able to get it there with the Pack 40 and knock it out. Almost. But the Stuart just has sufficient knife enough to get away here. In the east, though, we got MD42 there versus Rifleman, fighting from a hill of dirt. Going for the western viewpoint, they need some more support there, though. Grenadiers moving westwards, at least some sending northwards. In the east, Pioneers advancing. We got more light machine guns there for Fingies, or Findid's hardened infantry. Mortar moving down the centre. And moving up there, got a sniper shot there, gets one of the mortar crewmen who drops dead like a sack of potatoes. Dropped from the second floor. Tech up almost down there for Findid. Grenadiers taking minor losses. Rather than they're taking losses from the light machine gun team, they're low on health out in the open. The Grenadiers are eventually free. They are hardened men. They have seen the horrors of the Eastern Front and survived it, and now they're on the Western Front where there are new horrors awaiting them. Here, rather than getting blasted there by light machine gun teams as well, they're caught by 2 Grenadier squads here, so that could very well end up beneficial for Findid. Fingy's extending his men there, and Findid is taking every chance to sort of take advantage of that. Sniper fire, MD42 fire, mortar fire is also ready here to bombard. Fingy's central position here. MD42 at this point, the captain. In fact, it's somehow all captains. It's all captains on the MD42. That is the most over-ranked machine gun. The machine gun itself is a lieutenant. Pioneers moving straight into the Rifleman. That's not going to be winning engagement there for Findid. Will he try and take up? Yes, in fact, he has taken up here. He's still struggling versus the Stoop. At least he's got something that threatened more. And he's still got the Telemine there in theory. Fingy has yet to take up. That's actually a strategic mistake, though. Fingy really should be taking up at this point and begin bringing up heavy armor, more armor versus Findid. Instead, he's just sort of languishing. He's probably having fun. The problem is, though, you kind of want to beat your opponents as well. And sometimes, you know, you got to sort of bring up the bigger fun. In this case, the bigger tanks. Grenadiers here, they're reinforcing, almost ready to go again. He's got so far no Panzer Grenadiers, and still no doctrine from Findid. No doctrine whatsoever. MD42 there needs to retreat. Wigstalk. Could be right there. Almost, but not quite. He's not moving in there with the Stoop because he knows there's a Pack 40 in the area, so obviously he's not going to pursue that in this case, so he spots another target and he goes for it. And the mortar sets off the Telemine. Oh dear. That rather was a spoiled surprise to Findid, but there you go, we got take up, we got the Spalmer co-op, they could try and rush out a Stug here, that would help. Maybe an Ostwind. In theory, could wait for the Panzer IV, but I would describe that as a bit risky, seeing as he's pretty much in the back foot. And we can see that Fingy is finally taking up as well. We got the Stoop moving out there, then engaging the Grenadiers out there. We got more Grenadiers moving up, need to get the Pack 40 up there, but he's taking fire there from the captain. Oh dear, he's making a mistake. He's getting in close there between all the Panzerfausts. He's taking a lot of damage. That's going to be a dead Stuart. They can catch up with the Pack 40. Now the Panzerfaust there, very low on health, very low on health. More Grenadiers there, actually trying to push up here and go for final Panzerfaust perhaps. He's trying to get away desperately with the Stuart, but the Pack 40 it might just be faster here. They can push hard enough. Come on, Fritz, push harder. We've seen worse, we've seen worse. I know I have. And he finally gets the Stuart. He finally gets the Stuart. Took him long enough there, but he was finally able to put it out of his mystery there after Fingy made a rather, say, crucial error. He just rushed right in between the Grenadiers. He should expect the Panzerfaust, and he should expect the Pack 40 there trying to hunt it down. We got pressure up here, from entry and MD42 with sniper support there. That's not going to be a winning engagement there for Fingy. Looking at the mid-game analysis, Findid, though, has done a lot of damage. It's also done a lot of killing. But again, map control-wise, not a bit far behind there, and also army value-wise, he's behind resource float. Not looking good down in terms of points held. Again, Fingy's very much been in control again. This has been about, again, down to that awkward start there, and Fingy just having a lot more resources. It's only sort of lucky is basically Fingy took a lot longer than he should have in taking up, and thus Lord's been able to bring out tanks. And again, it's not like he had opportunity to use the captain to supervise. Again, Fingy's made a few sort of crucial tactical errors there and strategic errors ultimately they've sort of resulted in, which has allowed Findid to actually bring up armor. In theory, he could actually go for Stugnauter that way. I'm sure it's got something to do with his Shermans, but then again, he might be figuring, he's up against something else, and again, probably at this point, he's seen the light machine gun, so he knows he doesn't have to work Pershings, and he knows his opponent is too slow in taking up, that he might actually have a chance to bring up Panzer IV. It's a bit risky here, but of course, if he can bring up Panzer IV, that will help more versus the infantry versus Sherman. It's going to be a slightly equal fight, though of course, Stug would certainly help more there, but he's probably more worried about the infantry now, so the Panzer IV is probably going to be what he goes for. I mean, he could go for the Ostwind, but then there's still the Sherman, and the Ostwind can't deal with the Sherman, so he's probably going to try and save up here for the Panzer IV, which sort of the closest thing that can sort of take care of the show, at least keep it at bay, while he also deals with the damnable infantry. But he certainly needs to try and put in some efforts there around the few points, at least secure one for the fatherland. Some Panzer Grenadiers to support the old would also be pretty good there indeed. But I mean, otherwise he's just sort of desperately struggling. Just needs to ensure he doesn't get caught up in any sort of meat grinders versus Finggy, and just try and outmaneuver him, catch him off guard, and just bleed him dry, and beat him silly. Also choose a doctor. I mean, elite troops could work here. Mobile defense could in theory also work, but the way he's sort of attacking, not so much. And then there's also mechanized assault. We'll have to see though what it is Findid ends up with. As for Fingy, I mean, some finding positions in there to slow down any of Findid's advances could be, I think, a pretty good choice. But otherwise, just supervise the Sherman out, get it out as fast as humanly possible. Don't dither about, Fingy. Don't dither about and try to sort of cause deeper flanks. For example, try and go up through here and then sort of get behind Findid from sort of deeper angles. He's a bit too sort of eager just to attack Findid head on. He's got the advantage, but it's causing him to make some slightly questionable tactical judgments. Also strategic judgments, as we've seen there against slow and taking up. Then when he should be trying to flank deeper, get behind, and use his otherwise superior force that way, crush Findid and sort of just
bigger engagements. But there you go. Let's return to the fight quickly and see what happens next here. Rierson's pushed away. And lost. They're going to escort there. Quite a loss for Findid and the Panzerlehr Panzer Division. One of these, the healing reinforcing. Can go for the stoop, but again, likely won't go for it here. He's going for Panzergrenadiers. Hardened men of the Panzerlehr. Rather than taking losses. Also, fun fact, the Panzerlehr Division was not sort of the first Lehr unit. In fact, there were many throughout the war. Generally, sort of battalion size that should be, sent wherever, sort of here and there to gain experience, because they're pretty much instructors and the likes and training personnel that would be sent out to the front in sort of detachments to, well, basically update the curriculum that way. Whereas others would send the veterans back to teach. The Germans sent the teachers out to fight and then back. That's sort of a difference there in the German process, if you will. Troops healing reinforcing. And of course then there was the Panzerlehr, which rather sort of dropped away with it. Obviously wouldn't be sent back to teach. They're just sort of used to create a sort of instant elite unit by using, veteran instructors and the like. They already knew their stuff, and that way sort of push a, full force unit out. The idea might have been suggested by Gudin, and then again he might just be claiming credit for someone else, but he sort of gives the indication he sort of got the idea then, sort of in his memoirs. Which you can recommend, by the way. I can recommend his memoirs. They're interesting. It sort of gives you some ideas and things, for example, the state of stoops in the German army and the fact that everybody wanted them. It also gives you the impression that Yak Panthers was actually, and stuff like that, was actually rated as heavy assault guns, which I think is pretty interesting. Might be wrong there, but there's certainly some thoughts there. But anyways, rather than being pushed back by Grenadiers, Panzergrenadiers are coming up the sniper, allowing him to operate a bit more freely as well. Moving towards the west as he's sort of drawing his attention to the east. Good move there by Findid, a good move. He can go for the Osprey again. He's slightly aiming for the Panther 4. He's also low on victory points, so I'm going to push for those. We've got Ravnik getting sniped and shot to death here. Rough grenade there from the Grenadiers. Oh! Halted it, needs to shoot the Grenadiers though. No, he tries again. Oh, pretty risky stuff there. And Raven pushed away. Sniper Panzer goes advanced. We've got the MD-42 there again, the Captain machine gun.
We're under attack. Ready to copy.
Grabbing the points there.
Lousy patch of dirt is ours. They're trying to outflank us. Crowds are sniffing around our asses. Tactical.
And we got a Calliope. Now this is actually a mistake there by Finggy. Again, that's a mistake. He's tacked up, but he's not used like I said. He's going for the artillery. And again, great stuff against an opponent with some support weapons and infantry, sure. But problem is, he's kind of neglecting what happens if Findeed then brings up a tank. Because here's the problem. Fingy's got 0 anti-tank. He's got no anti-tank guns. He's got no tanks. He doesn't even have a single bazooka. Obviously, he could upgrade, but that's still going to mean he's only got 1 bazooka. So right there, Fingy is making a quite large strategic mistake. Again, he's sort of overlooking his force composition. He's just focusing too hard on what he wants to do, which is just blast his opponent to bits. Again, he's relying too much on just the clobber principle, which for some players involves just, getting the biggest artillery they can, so just trying to do as much damage that way. But again, map control-wise, it doesn't always help, and again, it has some other issues, like, for example, what happens if you waste the opportunity to bring up some tanks and then your opponent does not. There we go, we got the Calliope under fire for the Pack 40. Very aggressive play there with Indeed. Takes it down to half health already. Western fuel point then secured. Eastern fuel point secured as well. Rearson there being suppressed. Thing here is suddenly being hit pretty hard there by Findeed's fist. And now it becomes a Panzer fist as the Panzer 4 rolls ahead. Pendulum machine gun there on the way. Moves ahead swiftly. Engages the rifleman out in the open. Sniper there, veterans, 37 kills. And there we go. Ready, rather than being suppressed. Panzer versus rifleman, getting shot at quite a bit there. Trying to get up close, but best of it, if you rifling with light machine guns, that's not good in there. Gold to see a grenade follow up there. In this case, Findid was able to sort of swift react to it. Panther 4, though, is certainly going to pose a problem for Fingy because, again, he's got no anti-tank. Again, Fingy has been caught with his pants down his ankles. That is not good. That is, in fact, pretty bad there for Fing. He completely underestimated Findid, and Findid, like the sharp player is more than happy to teach him a lesson on that subject matter. So we'll have to see how he reacts. I mean, he's got a bazooka up. The problem is a single bazooka is not going to halt the German Panzerwaffe. I mean, he can sort of cause Findid to maybe be a bit more careful with his Panzer IV, but it's not going to halt it. It's not going to hold him, particularly supported properly with infantry like he's doing here. And he's also got a Pack 40 covering, MD42 and mortar all working in tandem here. So right here, Fingy's captain could certainly find himself in a lot of trouble here from the Panzer IV. So far, though, the Panzer IV's yet to do any sort of serious damage, but that can easily very happen. Grenadiers moving up there. Could try and rough grenade into the enemy base while he's occupied elsewhere. Calapi moving up. We got a Jackson on the way there for Fingy. Still no doctrine there from Findid. Hits the mortar and wipes it. Grenadiers almost wiped by the mortar in return. A bit of vengeance there. And he strikes into the base there. He strikes into the base. And right here, what Fingy should do is just supervise the Jackson again, speed it out. But Fingy clearly isn't quite attuned to the full capabilities of the American. And again, he simply does not utilize the captain, despite other players like Naki Strike certainly understanding the power of supervision and the ability of just being able to rush out stuff, and particularly trying to react to something unexpected like this. So again, mistake there by Fingy, mistake there by Fingy.
You got your reinforcements in. Welcome to the death factory, boys. Stick with me and you might just make it.
Captain Ruffin moving about there, Jackson almost done.
Tank destroyer is ready for orders.
No mines there, could consider by the way for Deed. There you go, Jackson out there for Fingy, the M36 Jackson tank destroyer.
What the hell am I meant to do with these recruits?
A capture point is under attack.
Well, grab your shit.
Back here, nothing further going on there for Findid of the Panzerlehr. You can soon bring up some more armor. Austrian Stug might of course be setting up for another Panzer IV. And he still hasn't chosen a doctrine. I really think Findid needs to choose a doctrine now. Certainly wouldn't hurt. I mean, at this rate, I suppose he could be aiming for a Tiger Race, I suppose. And he's got a bit of shooting about here. Grenadiers there versus the captain, spotting him out in the open and gunning him down. He's attempting to. We got the Rifleneer supporting, we got the Jackson covering all of that. Panzer IV's yet to move, and we got Rifleneer. Oh! Got the machine gun crew. Bad news there for Findid. Makes a run for it. Grenadiers moving up. Panzer IV moving up as well. Here he's going to try and grab it, I suppose. But right here with the Panzer IV nearby. That could prove to be a mistake in there. Go pushed away. Panzer Grenadiers opening up then as well. Calliope moving down, straight down the road. He should be aware there's a Panzer IV nearby. That Grenadiers moving up to Jackson there to cover the Calliope in the east there. We got multiple attack with the rifle. We got Calliope barrage down here. Shot against the Pack 40, looking to silence, and he does so successfully. Rockets splattering the crew across the ground here. Mortar under fire, likely there to be wiped as well. Infantry retreating. Fingy's not without teeth either here against Findid, and when the Jackson is clearly feeling bolt up. We got a second Panzer IV there on the way for Findid though, for the Wehrmacht.
Looks like we're getting into the excitement. Send your orders.
We're taking lead over here.
Bit of sniper fire there. Troop ceiling reinforcing. Rifle moving up here for the centre there. Goes straight to the Panzer IV. Gets a few decent hits there. Machine guns and main gun. Rifle trying to support here. Across the ground. We got the Jackson over support. We can see Findid is very swiftly falling back though. Not intending to get a good hit the Pack 40 on the Jackson though. Need to pull back the Jackson. Second hit there. Jackson already in a pretty bad state. They can shoot for up with the Jackson. Of course, might want to go for a Sherman. Either way, though, you should definitely also consider supervising it with the captain here. Grenadiers flanking, trying to get here the light machine, or the sniper team there, but taking power from the Grenadiers, also the Panzer IV nearby. Grenade off. He's going for the Pack 40, I think. He could also just lay down a smoke screen here, coming off the Pack 40. But there goes second Panzer IV out there for Findid. Rifleman wipe retreat, quite a loss there for Finggy and the 2nd Armoured Division. In the west, Major moving about there, grabbing points. Not a bad idea there by Finggy. Not a bad idea at all.
The enemy is overrunning one of our capture points.
Could smoke the MD42 there with some fire there from smoke barrage here from the mortar. Could also just try and smoke out the Jackson, prevent it from supporting the infantry east of the front line. Either way, Panzer IV's moving up, Pack 4 supporting. We see that Findid is going in pretty aggressively. got the Jackson, which Finggy had failed to pull back to repair properly. Definitely mistake there. Finggy, he's going to have to go for another Jackson. So some Sherman's problem is right now, though, Findid is just hitting him with as many tanks as possible. And he still hasn't brought up a lot of anti-tank. He still hasn't upgraded his weapon max. There's been no sign of anti-tankers either. And there he goes, going to get the Calliope ambulance on as well here. Finggy is getting hammered by Findid, getting vengeance from all those early troubles. And we finally got a doctor here for Findid. It is elite troops. More bazooka fire. What will Finggy do in response to all of this damage into the Panzer IV? He's still got to lead the Findid, though it is certainly an increasingly smaller one here as Findid is grabbing the map as much as possible. More pioneers following up the Findid. Those tanks are a bit battered up there, and we got another Jackson there. He is still not using the captain, the supervisor, and the ambulance only got abandoned. It only got abandoned. They can see why with the engine on fire. So, how long do we have to stay here? Can we fix it? No, you gotta stay there. You gotta pass medical supplies. Anyway, can we put out the fire? No, can't. It's a sacrifice you're going to have to make. Why? Because that's it. Major moving towards the west. Oh, now Mark retreating in the face of the snobby in the east. They've got Captain versus the Panzer IV, but the Panzer IV's a bad state. Jackson almost done here. Pioneers coming up. They got the mortar on top. We got the MD4 through the current, the entire thing in the centre. In the east, the captain is slowly being pushed back as the Grenadiers coming up to support the Panzer IV. Forcing back Thingy's lone captain team there with the bazooka. And he's flooding so many munitions, he could easily afford to just go for some weapon racks and get out something. At least lay down some smoke tunes there, deny indeed some of his range there.
Tank destroyer is ready for action.
Grabbing the eastern victory point there, we got the Jackson setting up, troops healing and forcing inside the base, and the ambulance just burning away.
Reinforcements in. Welcome to the death factory, boys.
Points are down to 300.
Infantry, they're pressuring forwards. Veterans who won gain for this group bit. I think aggression set up there for them indeed. I mean, you should remember how that one ended up in the enemy's hand for the first place. Nego grenade off. Almost got it there. In fact, he fully wipes the MG42 there with his grenade. Punishing Findid there for a tactically odd choice there again. Pretty much a mistake, though, it's a misplay. Panzer IV, they're ready. Second one, though, still got some time to go.
The enemy is overrunning one of our
These was Riflemen, and they lose out. They're pushed back by the double up single punishment for the Pack 40. They go right in front of the captain. They're going to get cleared as well. We get the sniper hanging about nearby. 49 kills, close to 50.
Is under attack.
I think indeed, is he saving up for the Tiger Ace? I mean, he's got almost, well, he's got the resources almost. He just needs the manpower, in which case, you know, he can just get really nasty there against Finggy. He's just stolen Findid's other mortar there. Troops seem to be enforcing. Victory points pretty much what all it's focusing about at the moment. Findid, a lesser extent, also on the fuel. Another sniper shot there. Captain's going to try and rush it using his sprint, and there you go, sends Findid sniper running. East Rifleman versus Grenadiers there. And it's briefly looked like a smoke screen, but no, it's just water. It's just water. It's sort of being splashed up with these. Oh, it looks like he's popping a smoke screen. Finally, nope, just water. Panzer IV number 2 almost good to go here. That means Fingy's Jackson's going to be rather undergunned, and Fingy's just not bringing up more armor on another tank destroyer. And Findid, is he indeed playing for the Tiger Ace, or is he playing for something else? I mean, he could actually go for a third Panzer IV now. He could go for a pair of Stugs, an Ostwind, and then wait a bit for a Stug. I mean, a pair of Stugs would certainly lock down the Jackson very, very soundly. So we'll have to see what it is. Findid is very much thinking against Finggy. Rifleman spot, he's going a bit around. Jackson opens up, misses the Panzer IV though, misses, got Grenadiers. Oh, Pioneers actually supporting the Panzer IV, other Panzer IV is just covering the centre. Shoots again, misses.
A capture point is being overrun. Crew ready.
Sniper fire against the MD42 there, and we got a Calliope. Again, a Calliope for Finggy. I can't help but feel the Thingy's priorities is a bit weird. He's getting some odd priorities here against Findid. He's not taking Findid's armor very seriously at all. I mean, he's got one bazooka, one Jackson against 2 Panzer IV, supported by a Pack 40 if need be. That's not really a good fight there for Finggy. It's not a good fight. The Jackson is more for like single bigger targets. It does not handle swarms of tanks very well. That's basically the problem with the Jackson. Currently, Findid's got more Panzers than Fingy's got Jacksons. And if he goes for the Tiger 80, I mean, that Jackson is definitely going to be in a lot of trouble because supported by the Panzer IVs, Findid's pretty much just got the most premium armoured fist that he can bring to bear against Fingy and just punch his face in. Because again, Fingy just does not have the anti-tank. I'm going to say back take for the lieutenant, the M20 laid down some might. You know, he would have been able to sort of catch some of these tanks, then immobilize them, in which case a single Jackson could work. But that's the problem. Fingy's been more caught up, you know, Calliopes than, you know, actually countering what Findid is doing, it seems. Jackson is shooting, Panzer IV moves in. Need to blitz the 8 ahead, blitz the Panzer IV, get it all moving. Got the ambulance there finally, again. Got it again. Jackson gets away the damage in the Panzer IV, one more hit, and Panzer IV down, lost there. Ace is busy there with the mortars they're just bringing in there to finish off everything in his base. Got the mortar there.
We lost a gun crew.
Sending the Panzer IV against Jackson, and gets it. At this point, it's pretty much GG here. Fingy has been undone. Well, it's got a bunch of troops left, and it's not really much left you can do there. So there we go, game over, GG. Rough start there for Findid, which Fingy, to an extent, was able to exploit. But again, Fingy made that critical error, which is when you have an advantage, you push it hard, and that means you go for tanks as fast as possible. The problem is, Fingy did not do that. He allowed Findid to actually sort of survive and get back into the game, and then bring up its own tanks, at which point Fingy went for the Clive. That was really another big mistake there. He just did not at any point go for tanks or anti-tank guns. And he brought up, say, a pair of anti-tank guns. He might also have a chance versus Findid, but that's the problem. He just completely underestimated Findid's armor, and that rather cost him in the end there. So, I mean, you know, remember, take your opponent's armor seriously. When you're dealing with larger numbers of tanks, you generally want either anti-tank guns or Shermans. Jackson's sort of for larger targets. They can't really handle large numbers of tanks. Well, that is rather the weakness of the Jacksons. Right there, Findid didn't really handle it very well. Findid, though, again, despite the awkward start, really held on there tenaciously and fought his way back, clawed his way back through, you know, a pile of dead Americans and burning Jacksons. I mean, well played there by Findid, well played. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match, the last match of 2017. If you did, you know, subscribe, like, share, and comment on it. This is Imperial Dane signing off. I'll be back tomorrow in the new year for more. Cheers, everybody.